Here's a feature I wish Windows had. As a tech guy, one of the most common problems that I sometimes have to face are essentially corrupted Windows boot folders. Now, what do I mean by a corrupted Windows boot folder? Well, every computer that runs Windows has a system folder, usually called Windows, where all of the files that are required to make the computer boot are present and accounted for, and they all have to be in harmony. And what do I mean by that? If you were to go into that Windows folder as a novice, and they usually don't recommend you do this, so don't do this because you're following along over here. But if you went into that folder and you intentionally or accidentally deleted some of the files, accidentally or otherwise, or if let's say you're installing a program and it's making changes to some of those Windows system files, for whatever reason, as you're changing those system files or deleting those system files or somehow corrupting those system files, the next time you turn on your computer where it normally loads all the certain sequence of files, if those files are missing or damaged, you now have a machine that will not boot. It won't boot. And if, depending on how badly the corruption is, it might even be difficult to get to the recovery partition depending on whatever happened. So today's idea of the day is that I think it would be a great option for Microsoft to have mirrored images of those folders. So for example, let's say you're doing a bunch of changes. It makes changes to the current version of that file, and it keeps a duplicate of each one of those files in two different folders. So what I'm saying is, as you make these changes to the files, it makes the change to the duplicate, leaving the original the way it was. So that if something happens and you needed to, you should be able to roll back to the previous version. So you'd have an original copy of that Windows folder. And theoretically, you can have multiple. So you maybe have a copy of it just before you installed Office, another copy of it just as before you did some other thing. Now, in a more simplified version, if it just simply had the two folders, the current, last known good, and they do have an option, by the way, that says boot last known good configuration, but all it really does in that case is it goes back to the last copies of certain registry settings. What I'm saying is I'd love to see an option where the entire Windows folder can revert back to a previous edition. And that's today's idea of the day. All right, so that's today's idea of the day. I hope you liked it. If you visit ideaoftheday.com, you'll see a new one every day. Every day. Yeah, some of them don't suck. And don't forget to subscribe. And you can see them here every day. Brand new one. And some of my videos don't suck either.